Mahadeva, Mahadeva. Is it audible?
Hari Om Swamiji. It is audible, Swamiji.
Shivaya Namaha, Shambhave Namaha, Shivaya Namaha. Om. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tamhadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavaraitaha Prajnanaganaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om. Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavad Padabhidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakృతే Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Om. In the physical requirements, as we have seen, and also mentioned in several books of yoga, the external arrangements or the environment should be conducive to generate the meditative disposition, one's inclination for meditation, for which the authentic books like Bhagavad Geeta and the Upanishads also speak about it. Even the Puranas also do mention. On the outermost circle, one should select a place which is samatala, which is flat and not Ubar khabar. What will you say that in English? Huh?
Uneven.
It should not be uneven. Samatala. Another thing is, if you are able to find a place in seclusion, it is best. In seclusion too, one should find a place where one will be not disturbed by people or animals or insects. Now that is what one should take care before starting. Otherwise, one will go and sit in a place where it is full of mosquitoes. And later on, for somebody who's well established and has discovered his total detachment from the body, these physical conditions will not matter much. But for a beginner, he should. The place can be a temple or a shrine in a secluded corner of your house. It should be pavitra. This pavitrata, the sanctity, is naturally present in places like mountains, caves of the mountains, or on the banks of the great rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, Krishna, Kaveri. But don't go, let us not, stretch it so much that you are going to sit in a place where people are there is a lot of traffic of people. हर की पैड़ी पर जाकर के बैठोगे तो वहां धक्कम मुक्की इतनी है, बैठने की तो गुंजाइश ही नहीं, खड़ा नहीं हो सकता कोई, difficult to understand. Therefore, find a place which will give you the necessary ekant, a space to be with your own self. In India, no matter whichever village that you may go to, you are definitely bound to find at least a small Shivalaya. That is not very difficult. So it was told that this Shivalaya is a place. Then comes the physical condition of the body. And as I have even discussed this point earlier, it is necessary that the person should have had a healthy sleep. Nidra Shesha should not be there. In Jivan Mukti Viveka, we have seen Nidra Shesha as one of the obstacles to Samadhi Abhyasa, to the practice of meditation. Nidra Shesha means incomplete sleep or incomplete rest. Then the second thing is one should take care of if you are going to practice the meditation in the morning, then you should know that the food consumed on the earlier evening should be digested by the body, and also one should have a clean stomach. These are the physical conditions with which one should arrive on the seat of meditation. Now, a little mental, another physical condition is that discover yourself in a position which does not demand constant attention paid to the body, because the physical frame should move out of the attention after a few minutes. The physical frame should not, like, because if you are going to sit in a position which is going to make you uncomfortable, then one should know that this is not the asana, this is not the position. The books of yoga do mention asanas like swastikasana, siddhasana, those who have a little stretchable knees and the hip joints, they can do padmasana. But siddhasana is a very easy posture. So seated posture, asina, there is one Brahma Sutra also which speaks about it, that the upasana should be done by sitting down, asina. In the sitting posture too, just pay a little attention to the pelvic arrangement of the pelvic region. The pelvic region should be raised a little bit above the knees. If the knees and the pelvic region come into the same level, it is still okay. But the best would be to have the knees lowered at least by an inch than the pelvic region. So when the pelvic region is raised above the knees, it gives a push to the backbone to stay erect. Because after a while, you will discover that the muscles in the back do get tired, and then the body will slump. The slumping of the body means that the shoulders will fall in the front and the chest will collapse. As a result, the lungs will have less capacity to take the full amount of breath inside and to release the full amount of air trapped inside. And that means we are creating a condition then with the slumping of the body to induce a drowsy, sleepy feeling. Therefore, in order to avoid that, if one can take care of the arrangement of the pelvic region and the position of the knees in relationship to that, it will help. Once the backbone is erect, the bones will support the muscles, and the muscles don't have to hold the bones erect all the time. Thus, then after the bones, the backbone will stay straight, raised upwards. The head and the neck should be either held straight or giving a little tilt to the head, not so much so that your chin almost touches the chest. Don't go that down. Stay up. Because presently you are not going to practice the bandha. What is the bandha called over here? And the bandha in the navel? So this is not, we are not going to practice the Jalandhara bandha. Okay. If the position of the body you will find is good, then Uddiyana bandha will take place naturally. That means you will discover that the navel region is pulled as if the muscles behind the navel are as if pulled behind. This is in the beginning. Then after, don't worry about it. But to look at the asana, this is, you take these and give it time. Be patient. Once when a person is thus seated, now comes the mental preparation. In the mental preparation, the foremost thing is one's sincere effort, one's honest participation. Without any reservation. Think that this is the last hour of your life. There is nothing else that you want to do, but now be seated and one wants to behold Paramatma. The second thing is, it will be wonderful if this attitude grows in life. But at least on the seat of meditation, develop this. Say it with confidence to yourself. I want nothing from this world. I don't want anything from this world. No object, no appreciation, no person, nothing from this world. Let the whole world lose significance once you are on the seat of meditation. This attitude should become the disposition. When it is the disposition of the personality, it will be called as Vairagyam. The Yoga Sutra commentators have unanimously said, because Bhagavan Patanjali himself mentions this as Vashikara Vairagya, and he defines Vashikara Vairagya as Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vashikara Vairagya, Drishta Anushravita Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vashikara Vairagya. Whether the Vishaya, the object, is a celestial, heavenly, outwardly object, or it is something from this world itself. Drishta means that which is seen, pratyaksha belonging to this world. Anushravika means something that is celestial and whose knowledge you have gained from the scriptures only by listening to them, the Pramana Bhuta scriptures. Vishaya Vitrishnas, the one who is no longer having the the Trishna, a longing, who does not have the longing, longing which makes a person restless. Thus, a person who is free from the thirst for objects of this world or of the other world is a person who has made himself free from the slavery of the world. Now, the presence of objects, people, their attitudes, opinions, you will discover that they hold no sway over you. This has to be the disposition, Vashikara Vaira. The Vashikara Vairagya is reached in phases, in stages by a seeker. And again, he seeks it, strives for it, and when it arrives, he discovers it has come as the prasada of Paramatma. In the first stage, the person strives to be free from the slavery of the Vishayas, of the Ragadveshas. When he strives to be free from that slavery, this is the stage of Vairagyam which is called as Yatamana Vairagya, because he is doing the Prayatna. Yatamana Vairagya. In the second phase, it is called as Vyatireka Vairagyam. Vyatireka Vairagyam means he takes a good stock a realistic idea about where exactly is he lacking in Vairagya and how much more he still needs to walk the path. One author of the Yoga Sutra commentaries in recent time has given a very beautiful example to explain the Yatamana Vairagyam. A tiger or a lion has a very big territory in the forest. It is said a single tiger requires an area of 70 kilometers of radius. And this is how the tiger or the lion rules his territory. And he is in a constant move. The tiger is on or the lion is on a constant move. He moves through his territory in different spots. And as he walks, he looks behind and looks in the front. That means he takes a stock of how much he has covered and how much more he still needs to cover. So now the person now understands where exactly the shoe pinches. What is it that is bothering him? Because there is no other factor other than the desires which will make you restless. For a time being, we may say that some person is responsible for me being disturbed. He said something on the phone and that has disturbed me. He did something and that has disturbed me. But actually, what disturbs you is some form of expectation, some form of desire. Then now know that how deep that expectation, that desire is, and how much more you need to work on it. When a person sincerely reflects and becomes introspective, positively introspective about his progress, spiritual progress, this is spiritual progress. Spiritual progress is not having strange visions and seeing flying angels. When you truly take a stock of how much more one needs to do, walk, go ahead, how much is walked and how much more needs to be done. This stage is called as Vyatireka Vairagya. Then people like Bhava Ganesh, who are the commentators on Yoga Sutra, they say, externally you may not want any object. Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha may not be wanted. But you want certain Vishayas which belong only to the mind. For example, the joy that one gets when one is given the Sanman, one is honored, the ego feels the boost of joy. And therefore, now there is a silent demand to be honored, to be appreciated, to be approved. He says these demands are not for the indriyas, but these demands are demands of the mind, ekendriya. And therefore, when there are such things which are subtle, no longer the Vishayas of the Indriyas, but Vishaya only for the mind, then it is called as, and when one strives to overcome this too, it is called as Ekendriya Vairagya. And finally comes Vashikara Vairagyam. Vashikara Vairagyam means, again, now this is where the Vairagya reaches this form of Vairagyam reaches its threshold, because there is still another form of Vairagya which is called as Paravairagya, but that becomes significant only when a person has really started getting established in Samadhi. But for the sake of Samadhi, one requires Vashikara Vairagya. Drishta Anushravita Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vashikara Vairagya. These are the steps of your spiritual progress. Do not have any other standards to measure your progress. Because the progress means an emotional, intellectual maturity. That progress is not measured by these strange experiences. Because when you are calling them strange, it simply means that you do not know what has caused it. Don't have this kind of a standard. Vairagyam is the only measure. And there is no need to convince anybody about how spiritual you are. Because if a flower has blossomed, it need not advertise its beauty and fragrance. It will become evident. And therefore, in a way, if you are still waiting for people to give an approval to it, forget, the people will never do that. Instead, you will be mocked. Therefore, drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnasya vashikara samshya vairagyam. This is the mental preparation. Now, if you have sat yourself properly, let us begin. The first and foremost thing, once your eyes are closed, is to pay obeisances, salutations to the holy feet of the Guru in your heart. Then, after I have introduced you the prakriya of Loma, Pratiloma, and Anuloma, Pratiloma means rolling back of the elements into their cause, avyaktam, unmanifest. And then anuloma means the manifestation of the Panchamahabhutas from the unmanifest. Once again, look at the divide. From the toes to the anus is the Prithvi Tattva. From the anus to the pelvic region is the Jala Tattva. From the pelvis to the Nadi Chakra, to the navel region, is fire, Agni Tattva. From the navel up to the heart is Vayu Tattva. From the heart to the throat, Vishuddhi Chakra, it is this space. From the space, from this Vishuddhi Chakra, the throat, up to the center of the eyebrows, the bridge of the nose, is Mahat Tattva, the subtle manifest. From the brows up to the crown of the head is Avyaktam, the unmanifest. And above this is the Purusha, the conscious principle that I am, without any name, without any form. I am neither unmanifest nor manifest. I, the consciousness, illumine the manifest and unmanifest. That pure light, Prakasha Rupaha Ahamasmi. It is that light which even illumines the darkness. It is that light which illumines even the sources of light, like the sun and the moon. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. That Prakasha Rupa I am. This prakriya of rolling the Prithvi Tattva into the Jala Tattva, the Jala into the fire into the wind into the space into the subtle manifest, the subtle manifest into the unmanifest, and above that all is Aham. I am. And then coming out would be the sequence as the avyaktam, the unmanifest becoming subtle manifest, the subtle manifest into the space into the wind into the fire into the water into the Prithvi. Thus the world of names and forms of the Panchamahabhutas is available. Let us start. We We have very little time, but nevertheless, other than I put the alarm to 20 minutes from now, the first alarm, and the second alarm to next 5 minutes after that.
Okay, thank you, Swamiji.
Bring your attention to the heart. If you do not know how to arrive there, just follow your breath. The inhalation will bring you to the heart region. And when the attention is there in the center of the heart, a lotus of 8 petals on which you can see the holy feet of the teacher, of the Guru. Mentally offer your salutations to the teacher. Seek his permission and blessings for the success of every endeavor, spiritual endeavor that you are going to make. I will chant the shlokas offering the salutations to the teacher. And then after, with your eyes closed, the eyelids falling very lightly, Om Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtham Shaktin cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Shishyam Shri Shankaracharya Mathasya Padmapadancha Hastamalagam cha Shishyam Tantrodakam Vartikaramanyam Asmadgurun Santatamanatos Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakrito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः Thank you all. Thank you very much.